Aaron told us to keep it to, 20 minutes or so, so we'll keep it short. I'm just really overwhelmed with that video and so many of the kind words here tonight. Obviously, thank you to Bellarmine for this very special recognition. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate the other distinguished inductees tonight, Father John and Anthony and VIET and Dave. To be included in the Bellarmine Hall of Fame with you makes this even a more special honor. Before I make a few more remarks, I do want to recognize my family that's here tonight. Of course, my mom, Rooney, many of you know, Margie, my wife, my daughters, Megan, Sarah are here, my son, Michael, my oldest daughter, Katie, couldn't be with us. She's still studying in Philadelphia right now, but again, I really appreciate all the support they've given me over the many years. This recognition will certainly be cherished by me because of my many associations. I, like many of you here, value my connection to Bellarmine among the greatest. This place is truly special. I've been blessed to have made many lifelong friends here at Bellarmine and create many lifelong fond memories. And I also wish to recognize and thank Father Wade, who's here in a very particular way. Father Wade, right there, was the president of the school when I was here, has been a lifelong friend, decades now, going back to my mom and dad's era here, and has not only married Margie and me, but also baptized our 4 children and now married one of them. So he's been really a great close friend of our families for many years. So thank you, Father Wade, for all your influence. Bellarmine gave me so many formative experiences, whether it was jumping into a 58-degree pool at 6 a.m. for water polo practice, or having the intimidating Father Ed McFadden see something in you that you didn't see yourself and call you out of class into his office to tell you you were running for ASB president. In hindsight, however, though, perhaps the most memorable and impactful experiences were the trips to prepare and serve dinner for homeless men and women at a small soup kitchen in downtown San Jose. This group was led by a Jesuit scholastic. There was about 6 of us, and probably for all of us it was the first time to come face to face, eyeball to eyeball with poverty and with homelessness. This experience and others like it, coupled by classes that were taught by inspiring and thoughtful teachers, really built on the foundation that my parents had laid. So fast forward to today, 35 years later, and I can attest that my experience here at Bellarmine, and particularly the focus on forming men for and with others, has challenged and changed me to become a person who's more aware of social justice issues and is working to build a more humane world. In our business of block construction, the school's mantra manifests itself in at least 4 significant ways. First, we've built a company culture where we strive to treat everyone, our colleagues, our customers, our architects, our subcontractors, our vendors, in a respectful and dignified manner. As a result, when our colleagues participate in engagement audits, as you heard from Tom, our firm ranks among the very best in the U.S. Secondly, we try to say yes to every nonprofit and church that asks us for help, especially those who serve the marginalized. And I can tell you that the projects we've built, whether it's for Sacred Heart Community Service or Catholic Charities, or even recently the Carmel Mission, have been the most satisfying that any of us have ever been involved in. Thirdly, we believe in encouraging our employees to volunteer for charities and, if possible, to accept leadership positions in charities, particularly on the board of directors, and many of them, in fact, most of them have. And lastly, we put our money where our mouth is, and we every year donate about 10% of our profits to charities. And just in the last couple of years, we've donated to over 110 local charities, and we're really proud of that. That has become a real source of pride for my colleagues and I. So tonight, I truly again want to thank Bellarmine, all of its leaders and administrators, for all it's done for me and for building on the foundation, again, that my parents started. This school has helped me become the man I am, and more importantly, the man I aspire to be. Thank you again, and go Bells.
Ferg's in the house. All right, well, thanks everybody, and thanks for that wonderful introduction. I'm flattered by this award. It still hasn't sat with me, but I know that I have a lot of people to thank, and I'm glad Mike went under 20 minutes because I'm going to take his extra minutes. First, I do want to recognize my 2017 Hall of Fame classmates. Somehow, I'm up here with a Pulitzer Prize winner, a successful businessman, a championship swimmer, and a longtime Jesuit. So those guys have succeeded in their fields, but really they've done so much for others, and that's what Bellarmine is all about, becoming men for and with others. I'm proud to be part of that list today. And I want to thank the organizers of this event, Chris, Meyercord, Matt, and Aaron, who put in a lot of time, and I appreciate that. Tonight, I'm being acknowledged for my practice of medicine, and I'm touched to be joined by several of my staff here. I see past and present medical assistants, past and present medical administrators and managers. As you all know, I do a lot outside of my office that is work as well, and I have to thank a special group who makes all those connections for me, the athletic trainers, especially the ones here, Mark and Mike, who I've known for a long time and work with daily. That first fan you heard of mine is Jeff Ferguson, the head trainer of the 49ers. I appreciate him and all he's done for me as well. But several of my physician colleagues are here too. The guys I send my specialty cases are here, and my office partners are here. And without them, I couldn't really take good care of all my patients, so I appreciate you guys. I do want to single out Chris Chung, who you saw in the video. He's not only been my practice partner for 14 years, but we met 35 years ago as freshmen in the dorm at UCLA, and we've been tied since. There's a large group of people I also need to acknowledge that is easy to forget about, but I would be remiss, and those are my patients. They teach me to be human, and they teach me how to improve as a physician. They keep me accountable. In the words of the mission of the Order of Malta, there's a quote that says, "We are to, quote, serve my lords, the sick and the poor." I find that a beautiful phrase to help me refocus almost every day, because so often I get tangled up in the logistics of my so many commitments. But those of you that are here, my patients, I owe you a special gratitude. I'd also like to acknowledge my many, many teachers. You don't get this kind of education without many teachers. I can't name them, they're too numerous, but I'm going to name one because he taught me here, he taught me geometry, and he taught one of my kids geometry, and he's here tonight, and that's Mr. Leo Ruth, who's also in the Hall of Fame. The next group to thank is very special to me. Those who know me know how I feel about my friends. It's comical around my office because each week there are phone calls from friends. They're seeking help, they have a need. The staff is never sure if they're really my friend because they say I have too many friends. Well, friends are the people that I choose to treat like family, and they choose to treat me like family. Friends are who we think of when we want to celebrate or smile or relax or ask advice. Having so many friends makes me feel like a very wealthy man. So I'm glad for having you all, my friends, and would not be here without you. I also want to introduce some of my family. We're a core of 4 siblings, represented tonight by myself and my brother Sal, class of '86. We've been blessed to be able to celebrate and to be there for each other. This family is the product of 2 wonderful parents, proud Italian immigrants, Alfio and Nina, Please stand for a moment. These two people represent generosity and humility. They never want for themselves, and they never stop giving. If you grew up with them and watched them live their lives, you learned how to treat people. You learned how to behave. And without their example, we would not be the family we are. I want to thank my children, too, who have taught me so much when they came along. They taught me how to take caring to a new level. Two of my sons are here tonight, Marco, class of 2013, and Vincent, 2018. Gina from presentation and Nicholas down at Santa Barbara would be here if they weren't making splashes of their own today. You four gave me the opportunity to have the most important job a man could have. That is to be a father. Thank you for that. So, I often get this question, how do you do it, Doc? You know, all my obligations, people can't believe that I can get through the day. And I have a simple answer usually. I just tell them I stay on top of my calendar and juggle all my schedules so I don't miss anything. And that's not a lie, but it's not the whole answer. I have a secret weapon. It's this young lady I met in Nebraska. I would not have a happy home, appreciative children, flocks of friends, business relationships, and acute community affiliations without an MVP, my most valuable partner, Cindy. Please take it on. Now that I've thanked everyone and used my allotted time, I need to go overtime. Because Tom's got the hook over here. Because I want to say something about my path and how Bellarmine has influenced it. My success as it relates to my Bellarmine experience is really all about three things: relationships, opportunities, and service. These are things I learned about or enhanced here at Bellarmine 35 to 40 years ago. I look out in the audience and I see Pete, my son's godfather, whose daughter I am her godfather as well, and he came from LA tonight to be here. Gus, my buddy from Italian class my freshman year, who married a girl I grew up around, who shared my vision to help start the Amici group. Mike, who you just heard up here, is another classmate of mine who got me involved with the Order of Malta. These relationships took me to all kinds of places, and that's what happens here at Bellarmine. But I have one more relationship to talk about, and I was really pleased to see this gentleman walk in tonight. When I was struggling to find my path to medical school, Dr. Richard Cerrone helped guide me to Creighton, where of course I became a physician, and my reconnection to the Jesuits drove me to serve again. With them, I traveled to the Campos of the Dominican Republic and served the truly underprivileged. Bellarmine had left that flame inside me to serve. Relationships gave me the opportunities to go into medicine, where I felt like I would find more opportunity to serve. My entire family has been involved with Bellarmine now. Cindy works in the athletic department, and she's studying Ignatian spirituality with Father Cobb. Gina has performed in the theater department, and her three brothers have all served as Bellarmine presidential ambassadors, contributed to the soccer program here, and will have completed in total 6 immersion trips to the Ipotorac orphanage in Mexico. Obviously, Bellarmine is a big part of our life. From my Bellarmine days, I still remember some of the words of the Ignatian prayer of generosity. I know I can't quite live up to it, but it continues to steer me. I'll paraphrase here. Teach me to be generous, to serve, to give without counting the cost, to fight without fear of being wounded, to work without seeking rest, and to spend myself without expecting any reward. To live up to this award tonight, I would like to keep these words close and fulfill them more and become a better man for and with others. Thank you, God bless, and go Bells.
Thank you very much for that introduction. recognizing that Michael Ray Matthews, who spoke very eloquently, texted me as I was driving here saying that his plane is delayed in New Orleans, so he wanted to be here today. So I really appreciate the remarks. Jerry Wade, we were classmates here at Bellarmine. Jerry, you're ahead of me, so he is older. And Mario Prieto for his kind words. Tom Weston, we've lived in the same community now for many years, is giving a retreat this weekend. So this is such an amazing honor to be inducted into the Bellarmine Hall of Fame for public service. A very special thanks to the committee that selected me. An enormous salute to all the inductees today for their commitment to being men for and with others. Michael Bloch's dad was in the same class with me, so it's great that we can be honored together this evening. And then thank you to my extended family and friends. So many are here today. There'd be too many to mention, so I dare not mention any names. But my family support is just invaluable. So again, thank you for my extended family and then the many friends that I see that are here also. And then of course, I'm also keenly aware that this honor must be shared with the tens of thousands of families, leaders, staff, and friends of the PICO network who have made PICO what it is today. Without their commitment, dedication, and support over the years, I wouldn't be standing here today. And thanks especially for my Jesuit education that started right here at Bellarmine, 4 years as a student and 3 years as a teacher and coach. It taught me how to integrate spirituality in action, find God in others, and serve God by serving God's people. My Bellarmine experience motivated me to pursue a ministry that changed my life forever. It was the community organizing definitely, as they say in the JBCs, has ruined your life. It motivated me to pursue a ministry that empowers everyday people to express their faith in action by building powerful organizations so that families can have a better quality of life. And it motivated me to pursue a ministry that resulted in the founding of PICO, People Improving Communities Through Organizing, in late 1972. In the introduction, it mentioned the credential of PICO, so I'll be repeating this. PICO has become the largest grassroots organization in the United States, working with approximately 1,200 religious congregations from 35 different faith traditions in 21 states. And PICO's success in the United States led to our international expansion, currently based organizations in El Salvador, in Guatemala, Rwanda, in East Africa. I just got back yesterday afternoon, so it's actually Sunday late morning for me right now. And also in our international expansion in Haiti. PICO has a long history of effectively engaging religious leaders and people of faith in the struggle for economic and racial justice. In the United States, PICO has a strong record of being and of bringing an organized and strategic faith voice into big state and national fights over healthcare, immigration, education, foreclosure, and other issues critical to working families. In developing countries, Hundreds of grassroots people are empowered to revitalize the practice of democracy and create economic opportunity. Today, faith-based community organizing continues to challenge me and PICO, especially during these uncertain and troubling times as we strive to build God's kingdom here on earth. Today, we live in a society facing profound moral, political, social, racial, economic, and ecological crises. PICO's emphasis on human transformation and social change, and PICO's tested practices of democratic accountability, moral resistance, and multiracial organization building are desperately needed at this moment in 2017. American and global society is thirsty for religious leadership that stands with people closest to the pain. And our global society is thirsty for opportunities to engage in spiritually grounded social change. So today, more than ever, we need a moral vision in the public square. It is a vision that puts families first, a vision of the America we should live in. Pope Francis, I had the good pleasure of at least shaking Pope Francis's hand and appreciate the message that he sends, and especially to the work that I'm involved in. He said recently, "Let us not forget that responsible citizenship is a virtue, and participation in political life is a moral obligation." So Pope Francis is a good fan of our work in community organizing. As we leave here today, I'd like to stress that PICO's work is only one effort in the larger struggle for a more just and civil society. We are all called to do our part to participate in the same mission. And then finally, as much as I appreciate this award and as grateful as I am for it, the greatest reward I've ever been given is the opportunity to stand with people in making this a better world. And again, thank you to Bellarmine for giving me this opportunity and this award. So go Bells.
It's an honor to be here today and to be included in the Bellarmine Hall of Fame. I want to thank Bellarmine for holding this wonderful event and giving me the opportunity to get back to campus with this honor. I'd also like to thank my parents, who are no longer with us, but sacrificed so much to give me opportunities for success and model the lifestyle of caring for others. I also want to thank my wife, teammates, coaches, teachers, and family members. All of you have been a part of my growth into becoming the person I am today, and it's great to have you here to share in this honor. I learned so many life lessons from my time in the pool and the classroom, and at the time it seemed that life was not easy in high school with training between 3 and 5 hours a day, plus trying to stay awake in class. But what a great foundation for the rest of life. My teammates and I always said if we can make it through that, then we can survive anything. It would have seemed crazy to admit it at the time, but I think we would all agree we were pretty fortunate to have the opportunity to attend Bellarmine and be a part of the aquatics program under Larry Rogers. I'm incredibly thankful to have shared in this experience with a great group of guys. I will forever cherish our time together and the lifelong friendships we formed. I'm very proud to have contributed to the success of Bellarmine Aquatics. For those of you here that don't know, Bellarmine had won 31 consecutive CCS team swimming championships from 1985 through 2015. And for my whole career at Bellarmine, we had this kind of success with a pool that was built back in the 1940s, not the pool that you see. I wish. The people who built our pool were slightly off in their measurements as well, so the pool was not regulation length, and therefore we couldn't hold swim competitions at our pool. And if you can't have swim meets at your home pool, then there really isn't a need for starting blocks. So we didn't have those either. We used benches that were lying around the pool deck. Despite the state of our pool, we were one of the most successful aquatic programs in the country due to our hard work, dedication, and support from coaches, parents, and teachers. Despite all the support and opportunity that I received growing up, being a man for others was not something that came naturally to me. It took a lot of growing up and lessons in maturity to be aware of my privilege in attending great schools with great teachers and coaches. I don't think I realized how lucky I was to be attending Bellarmine at the time. It's this realization of my fortunate background that has led me to supporting programs that provide access to sports and physical education for resource-constrained communities. I now support a program in Atlanta where I live called the Fitwood Foundation, which provides free fitness programs for underserved and under-resourced children in Metro Atlanta that build strength and develop character. When living in the Bay Area, I supported the Oakland Undercurrents, whose mission is to provide affordable swim programs that engage the local youth and empower them to achieve success, discipline, and teamwork. Given the opportunities I had during my development as a man, I think it's important that we give those less fortunate every opportunity to learn self-esteem, hard work, and goal setting through sports and physical activity. My time at Bellarmine has shaped who I am in so many ways, and I'm so thankful for everyone who is a part of that. The opportunity given to me here motivates me to help others have a similar opportunity so that they can become their best selves and a man for others. Go Bells.
First things first. What's more important than a speech? I can't help it, I'm Asian, gotta take a picture. It's incredible to be back here tonight because I have not stepped foot on this campus since 1988. And you guys save all the good stuff for after I left. Chris, my reporter, I remember Chris was in my class and you were editor of the newspaper. Gave me my first writing assignment, actually, to review a book back then. And I have to credit Bellarmine with so many things for making me who I am. And it's really impressive, humbling actually, to be here tonight with Michael, Anthony, Father John, Dave, for all the accomplishments that they've done, the love that they've given to their communities and to their families. Dave, just for being an athlete, I could never do anything like that. I can't even swim. That's one thing Bellarmine did not teach me. Well, it's an honor to be here tonight, and a tremendous pleasure to be present before my father, Joseph NGUYEN, and my brother, Dong NGUYEN. They are truly men for others, and my only regret is that my mother cannot be present, for she too has lived the tradition of service for others. One thing I'll say about my brother, he went to San Jose High School, and then from there went to Harvard. Okay, so I went to Bellarmine, and I was rejected from every single Ivy League college that I applied to. So, I think my dad got a better return on investment than my brother. Okay, so from the earliest that I can recall, I remember the example set by my father and mother, who sacrificed enormously for others. As refugees from Vietnam, they opened one of the first Vietnamese grocery stores in San Jose in the late 1970s, the New Saigon Market on East Santa Clara Street between 3rd and 4th. They were so successful that City Hall built the brand new City Hall across the street from my parents' store. So if you go there, you can see City Hall, but you can't see my parents' store. Now it's a parking lot. Here they work 12 to 14-hour days almost every day of the year. They did this for my brother and me, but also for the dozens of relatives in the devastated post-war Vietnam, whom they supported for years with remittances and gifts. I found it hard to reconcile what I knew of my parents with a sign that I saw not far away from their store. Another American driven out of business by the Vietnamese. My parents worked for others, but they themselves were others to some of the Americans in San Jose. This dual sense of otherness, being for others and being an other, was made visible to me at Bellarmine. And one of the interesting things that's happened to me was last week I had lunch with the president of Georgetown University, which is a Jesuit university, and he said, you really need to read the work of Father Pedro Arrupe, one of the Jesuit priests who coined this idea of being a man for others and with others. And it was really, as a scholar, I immediately tracked down that book and read some of what he had to write, and it was really impressive for me to learn that the Bellarmine tradition of being for others and with others came at least partially out of Father Pedro Arrupe's service in Hiroshima in the years immediately after the war. And it left me with an even deeper sense of appreciation for what it is that the Jesuits have done and what Bellarmine has done. So here at Bellarmine, I took seriously this Jesuit mission of service for others. And to this day, I credit my belief in the necessity of social justice in all realms to my Jesuit education, my Catholic upbringing, the example of my parents, and the lessons of history that I've studied. My life as a scholar began at Bellarmine, where I benefited enormously from a rigorous education, especially a literary education. And now, as a teacher myself, I just have even greater respect and gratitude for the often thankless work that teachers have to do, perhaps especially to freshmen in high school. It was as freshmen in high school that I met Father Dick Cobb in his composition course, and from him I learned never to allow a typo or a grammatical error on my papers, and from him I learned how to dodge flying chalk. I'm not sure you can do that in today's environment. I had the chance to write a short story with Mr. Bill Healy, and neither he nor I knew that it would take me 30 years to finish a book of short stories. And a teleplay with Miss Patricia Page, who also introduced to me for the first time my first inkling of a feminist consciousness. Under Mr. Tom Alessandri's guidance, I read the Communist Manifesto and The Sound and the Fury and many other works by William Faulkner. With Mr. Jim Harville, I read James Joyce's Ulysses. With Ed Surratt, Mr. Ed Surratt, I learned about French cinema and the avant-garde. Ironically, the one thing I didn't really learn very well in Mr. Surratt's French class was French. That was my fault, not his. Without my knowing it, I was being given a literary history and a literary ambition, and for that I will be forever thankful to Bellarmine. On the other hand, I had a curious experience where I knew that I was also an other at Bellarmine as well. I grew up in downtown San Jose, next to the freeway, in a neighborhood of Vietnamese refugees, Mexican Americans, and working class whites. At Bellarmine, I encountered a beautiful but unfamiliar world. There weren't that many Asian American students at Bellarmine at the time, and we did not know to call ourselves Asian Americans. Many of us clustered for lunch in one corner of the school and called ourselves the Asian Invasion. We knew we were different and that we were in a space that wasn't quite used to us, but we had no language for who we were. From then on, my mission, with the aid of my teachers at Bellarmine who started to give me this language, was to find that language and to transform stories, to be a scholar and a storyteller of others and for others. If I've learned anything from being a scholar and a storyteller, it is that storytelling is not something that only professional writers do. All of us tell stories to ourselves, our loved ones, and our communities about who belongs to us and who does not, who we recognize and who we refuse to see. I'm glad to know that Bellarmine has continued in its tradition of welcoming and acknowledging a more diverse world of others, and it has done so through remaining true to the Jesuit principle of being for and with others, seeing, recognizing, and including others, especially those who may appear to us strange and foreign, is one form of justice to which we should all be committed. And now I'm going to say something that I've never said before in my life. Go Bells!